and today we're talking poetry. So if you've been following along for a while, then you know I am currently taking college classes, earning my associate's degree, and it was probably the biggest regret of my life, never going back to school. So I started college right at 2 years ago, and I'll graduate in May of this year. And I'm taking my last two classes, which are a psychology class and a creative writing class. Now, if you follow along on Facebook, then you'll know that last session I took a creative writing class and I was sharing all of my work, and I had a really good time with that class. And I decided to take a second creative writing class for my last elective. And that's what I'm doing now, is a creative writing class. So this session we are talking about poetry, creative nonfiction, and fiction. That's the three subjects. And class just started last week, and so I had my first assignments, and it was poetry. So we had to take a mundane moment or what seemed like a mundane moment in our lives, and write some poetry about it. And I wrote about the moment I got this tattoo. So if you go back on my YouTube channel, you'll find a video that says getting tattoos in Sicily. That is the getting of this tattoo. My friend Stephanie was visiting me in Sicily, and we decided we wanted to go get tattoos together. And I'm not gonna go into the whole story. You can hear the whole story on that video if you wanna go check it out. I'll leave a link down below if you do wanna see the whole video. So we decided we wanted to get tattoos together, and we found one place with one guy, and we had one day to go get these tattoos done. And I knew what I wanted. I already had mine designed and the coloring figured out and everything, and I knew the placement, and I knew what I wanted it to be. So if you look at this tattoo, it probably doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense to you because it's a mirror image. So when I look in the mirror, it's correct to me, but it's not correct to anybody else looking at it. And it says, I am enough. And that was the tattoo that I got that day. And the poem that I wrote was about the moment I got that tattoo, because leading up to that moment, I fucking despised myself. And I had for pretty much my entire life. It was bad. It was really bad how much I fucking hated myself. And like the nasty shit I would say to myself, and like how disgusting I thought I was. And it was like all of these thoughts that I had about myself, and this deep-seated self-hatred. Like, it was bad, dude. Like, it was really fucking bad. But the second I looked at myself in the mirror with this tattoo, after he was finished and after it was cleaned, and I looked at myself in the mirror that first time, holy shit. It was life-changing. I don't know how many people have had experiences with tattoos where they are life-changing. I truly believe tattoos can be talismans. And the very second I looked at myself in the mirror with this tattoo on, I believed it. For the first time in my entire life, I believed that I actually was enough. That I was enough. That's all I ever wanted to be. I didn't need to be extra anything. I didn't need to be beautiful or smart or funny, because being enough meant I was all of those things. Even though I had never believed it. Walking into that tattoo shop, I fucking hated myself. I remember thinking that my hair was all over the place, and you know, I was wearing a tank top because I was getting a tattoo up here, and it was Sicily in fucking August. So I was wearing a tank top, and I remember thinking how fucking flabby my arms were, and that my shirt was sticking to me, and you know, like my hair was crazy, and like I remember thinking how disgusting I was to myself while I was going into the tattoo shop to get something that says I am enough. Walking out of that tattoo shop, I was a different fucking person. My head was higher. I believed it. I didn't give a shit about how my hair looked, or that my arms were flabby, or that I was overweight. I didn't fucking care anymore, because I was enough for me. Not for the outside world, not for anybody else, not for all the people in my whole life who didn't think I was enough. Fuck them. I was enough for me. And that was a life-changing experience for me. My Phoenix tattoo was a life-changing experience for a whole nother reason. But I digress. That moment was the moment that I decided to write about for my poetry for the week, for my creative writing class. So I wrote 2 poems and I shared them on Facebook. I'm gonna pull it up so I can read it to you. If you follow me on Facebook, you've already seen these. But I wrote 2 poems. We had to write 2 poems for the week. And one had to be a free verse, so it didn't have to rhyme or anything. You just had to write the poem. And then the second one needed to be a specific, not a specific kind of poem, but it needed to be a traditional poem, like a sonnet or, whatever. So my first poem was the free form poem, and my second poem was a rhyming poem. So I wrote my 2 poems and I shared them on Facebook. Then something amazing happened. So I'm going to read you my first 2 poems, or I'm going to read you my 2 poems. And I did not title either one of them because I thought a title was just, it would take away from it. So I'm just going to read you the 2 poems. The first one says, gritty and raw, yet hygienic and sterile, an oasis on a God-forsaken island. The scent of ink and body odor, infused with a hint of espresso, perfumed the air. Rock music and passionate chatter filled my ears, but I can't make sense of the words or the meaning. The Joker stares down at me with an evil airbrushed grin, and I smile back, knowing I'm in good hands. Anticipation and adrenaline race through my veins as I surrender to the magic of the man behind the needle. Intention and ink become one with my blood, a living, pulsing talisman, forever shattering a lifetime of lies, doubt, and self-hatred. A mirror reflects what I have refused to believe, and I am shaken to my core. A deep, concussive boom reverberates in my gut, and I know. For the first time in my life, I know. Regardless of what I've been told, despite what I have been led to believe, from this moment and forevermore, deep in my bones, I know I am enough. So that was the first poem. And if you follow me on Facebook, then you probably saw this image. I shared it. This was a photo that I took of me looking at myself in the mirror so that I could show what my tattoo actually said. This was taken the day after we got our tattoos, and this is the poem here. So if you want to see that poem, I will post a link to Edie's Cosmic Gathering Place down below with a direct link to the poem, because I'm pretty sure I shared them in there as well. And then you can share them if you want. So that was the first poem. The second poem says, and this is the rhyming poem. Lifelong deprivation had taken a heavy toll, but the sweet taste of self-acceptance nourished my starving soul. On my lips the flavor lingered and made me hungry for more. I'll never hate myself again the way I did before. That nasty bitch inside my head, the one with all the lies, she never stood a chance against my awakened battle cry. Those bullshit stories I told myself weren't mine at all, I learned. They came from those who feared my fire and were afraid of getting burned. Well, listen up, world, 'cause I got news. I know this for a fact. I'm not a broken woman anymore, and I am fighting back. I'm fierce, smart, and powerful. I'm beautiful and tough. Fuck what anyone else thinks. I know I am enough. So that's the second one. And I'll post a link to both of these in the down bar down below. So those were my 2 poems. And I shared them on my Facebook wall just because that's what I had written for the week, and people said they wanted to read my writing. So later on that day, someone tagged me in a post in Edie's Cosmic Gathering Place. And the title was Enough, and then in parentheses it said, for Edie. And so I was like, oh, okay, someone wrote me something. So I went to see what it was, and it was a poem. So if you go in Edie's Cosmic Gathering Place, I'll link this one as well. My amazing friend Carol. So funny story about Carol. I don't pronounce her name right. We've never actually talked, so I can't ask her how to pronounce her name. But in my head, I have a way that I pronounce it, and I know it's not right. My husband actually corrected me on it. He's never met Carol either, but he's in the Navy and he knows someone with the same last name, so he knows how to pronounce it. So I'm gonna tell you both ways. So I pronounce it Carol DeHarless. That is so not right. It's actually pronounced Carol DeJarlais. She's got a really fancy sounding last name. I just can't fucking pronounce it. So, Carol wrote me a poem. No one's ever written me a poem. And when I read the poem, like, see, I'm already like tearing up. This is a week ago, guys, just so you know, like, this was a week ago, and I'm still tearing up over it. So Carol wrote me a poem, and I had to ask her, did you write this poem and put for me just so I would go look at it? Or did you write this poem for me? And she said, yeah, I wrote it for you, that I had inspired her to write the poem. And dudes, oh my God, the fucking waterworks, you just don't even understand. So I'm gonna read you Carol's poem now, and I'm gonna try to get through it without crying, but I make no guarantees. And also, I don't know the pacing, so I'm just gonna read it and hope I get close to what she had in her vision. So it's by Carol DeJarlais that I could not pronounce, and it's titled Enough. She, stretching into tomorrow, loosened her ragged garments one by one, flung them to the nearest tree limbs like flags, forgotten, hanging limp and useless, untied binding straps, dropped them in rivers to twine like serpents, fodder for fish who have waited for such, broke buttons off, eschewed holes that held them taut. She had had enough. Enough of walking in others' footsteps to keep mud off her soles, of turning to see who could see, wondering if she stepped too quickly, or danced, or marched, in just as correct a way as they. Enough of wearing pale visage of yesterdays that might make her stand out, where anyone could see how her stitching was too uneven, how her hemming was ripped, how she could not match right colors. Enough scraping her knees on bricks, of Cinderella wishes stirring in her heart, of grasping for straws in fields of grass, of curling under covers of shade, hoping to be hidden in shadows while she wept. Enough tumble and toil and rumble and roil, of guts and gore of a woman, stripping skin off her body to make music and medicines and miseries feel like something different. Enough anger to fill a cauldron that would wound a world hurt to pour over gravestones that have no dates of death, only names, sorrow. Where such soddy under things mildewed in pits she tried to bury them in. Enough. She had ribbons and pearls, and there were swines she visited often to fling her promises to. Enough. She was walking a new way where sunshine would show her beautiful flaws, would shed light on her fallacies, that she had held to her like pearls, and they would dissolve like salt in vinegar, like sugar in clear running waters. And when she was shed and bare and naked before it all, her skin knew her new stories that needed no trappings to be lovely and good and glorious and enough. So that was the poem written by Carol. and it just moved me in such a way. First of all, no one's ever written me a poem. But Carol is a stunning writer. I don't know if you follow her on Facebook, but her writing is deep, always, and meaningful and poignant. And so to have her write me such a poem was very special and very, very, very much appreciated. And I just wanted to share it with all of you because it really meant a lot to me. So thank you, Carol, because I know you're probably going to watch this. Because I'm going to tag you, because I didn't get your... Oh, I did get your permission. I did get your permission. Because sometimes I do shit and then I'm like, oh, I guess I should have asked them. But I did. I already got her permission to share this. So, yeah, that has been my week of poetry. The two that I wrote, and then the one that was written for me by Carol. And I just wanted to share all of them with you today because her poem was just, it just really moved me, obviously, to tears. And I thought you guys would all appreciate that too. So I will leave links down below to all three of the poems. You can find them in Edie's Cosmic Gathering Place. That's actually the best place to hang with me and make sure you see what I'm up to because, you know, Facebook is an asshat and they don't share a whole bunch of stuff. If I put a link in something, it's pretty much guaranteed nobody's gonna see it. So if you're in Edie's Cosmic Gathering Place, then you can have your notifications turned on and you'll be notified whenever I post something. So that really is the best place to hang out with me and definitely get to see this kind of stuff. And to see the amazing stuff that everybody else posts in there because it's a really good group of girls. So the links for all of that will be down below. That is it for today. I will be sharing more of my creative writing on my Facebook page and in Edie's Cosmic Gathering Place. So if you want to keep up with all of that, make sure you come hang out with me in those places. And again, the links are down below. Remember, if you like what I do here, don't forget to hit the little subscribe button. That way you don't miss anything. Then click the bell. That way you get the notifications from YouTube that I've uploaded a new video. Share it with your friends. That way they can hang out with us too. And remember, you are fierce, you are fabulous, and you are fucking badass. So keep that shit up, and I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye!